Hey everyone, it's Judi here and welcome back to another Designing My Island video. Now in today's video, we are actually revisiting Happy Island Designer. In our last Let's Play episode, we unlocked terraforming, which is so exciting, but it opens up so many new possibilities. I thought it was really important for us to go back and look at our map again. So before starting this video, I took the base map that Happy Island Designer generates and I completely cleared it out. And then I took my switch and I compared islands so that I was able to recreate exactly where our river mouse and resident service center is, because we're not going to be able to change these later in the game. So the very first thing I did is I actually drew out the paths I currently have at the front of my island because I am quite happy with them. So I have sort of a rectangle that connects the resident service area to two houses, the airport, and also the shops. So if you watched my previous Designing My Islands video, I actually had a customs island. So when you get to the island, you're on a mini island, and from there you can walk across bridges to get to the rest of the land. And that's sort of the design I tried to emulate here. So once I had created my little town hall center main street mini island, I made a river that goes around it, and you actually have to cross the river to be able to get to the rest of the island. So it's sort of a way to, if somebody is just visiting your town really quick to get your turnip prices or something, then they shouldn't have to ever cross that river. You know, it's sort of like the main area when you walk in. Like, if somebody visits your house, you have your living room at the front. They don't just walk into your bedroom. It's sort of like that type of idea, where the more personal part of the island is elsewhere. So once I was happy with this little center island area, I actually decided to create a little bit of a mountain. And it's not a very big mountain, it's a very tiny little cliff area, but I sort of thought that could be cool, like a paradise cliff. Because for anyone that doesn't know, we are actually able to plant palm trees on grass. All you have to do is use the terraforming sand tool, place a little bit of sand on the ground, and then you can plant palm trees wherever you feel. So I thought it would be really cool to have a little bit of a paradise cliff right over the beach. And I think it's also going to look lovely because I'm going to make a double waterfall going from the two cliffs, because it's a two-layer little mountain thing next to the beach. So I'll make a double waterfall behind the beach. I think about Yoshi Falls. It's a Mario Kart track for anyone that hasn't played it before, but that's sort of the vision I have in my mind when I created that little cliff area there, and I hope it's gonna look as cute in real life as it does in my head. You can see I also went in with some plants there, so I did put some palm trees and some yellow flowers and stuff just to kind of make the area, even at the top of the cliff, just a bit more tropical. So once I was happy with the bottom of my island, I moved on to the top section. So I started off by drawing sort of this very blobby second level of land, and then I opened up my beach, and my thought process here was, why does the secret beach have to be secret? You know, I thought we should use the secret beach. So I actually opened up the area so that you can access it easier, and then on either side of the little upside down U shape I drew, I made a cliff. And that's sort of just gonna frame the area and really draw your attention to that beach, because I don't think it should be secret. I think we should emphasize it. We should enjoy that little beach. So I did do that, and then I put my house on one of the cliffs, and then I have a river going down in front of my house, and my thought process here is actually having two waterfalls right in front of my house, and then across the waterfalls there's bridges. So it's gonna be two levels of bridges going in front of the house, and I just think it's gonna look like a very grand entrance. I think it's gonna look absolutely amazing, and I'm really excited to create it. So then I started to create some ramps. So I created one ramp that goes right to the mini beach, because like I was saying, I think that the mini beach deserves love too. It should be easily accessible. It should be a place you can go to hang out. So the next thing I did is I started to debate where to put my little neighborhood. Now in my previous Designing My Island video, I just created sort of a rectangle with a little fountain in the center and all the houses around it, pretty simple. But since playing the game, I have come up with some new ideas. What if there's a top level of villager houses and a bottom level of villager houses? And they're still going to be in two rows, and it's still going to look very orderly. But if I put them on different layers, then when you look up, you're just going to see two rows of buildings, and I think it's going to look very grand. It reminds me a lot of when you look at Main Street in New Leaf, when you go back to the Happy Home Showcase, you'll see like 2 rows and just cliffs full of houses. And that's sort of what I was thinking about when I created this, just like this grand area where there's just house above house above house, this bustling city with life. That's sort of what I was thinking about. And also between the cliffs, I'm going to create like not entire waterfalls, but like little mini waterfalls, just to sort of add a water feature. I think that could look quite nice. The white line that you see right below the top row of houses is actually a fence because I don't want any villagers to come out of their house and fall into the waterfall. I don't think that would be very pleasant, so I did create a little fence for them. Now in the back corner, I created that little bamboo oasis thing I've talked about in some of my previous videos, because I do think it would be really nice to have like this hot spring sort of escape, and as you can see, it is right next to the campsite, so that's sort of like the vacation mode area of the island. So you can go camping there, just get away from everything, deconnect, and you can also, if you go up just a little bit further, you can get to the bamboo oasis. So depending on what you're in the mood for, that is sort of like your area to go to relax, and it is also right behind the village, so if the villagers are ever stressed or tired, they can just take a quick walk right behind them and they'll be able to get there. Same thing goes for my house too. I just have to take a little walk right to my right, and then I will be able to get to that little oasis area as well. I thought it would be a good spot for the relaxation area to be kind of in the middle of everybody's homes, because that gives everybody the equal opportunity to go relax. So here I'm just placing in all of my cherry blossom trees. I definitely did have a lot of fun with them when I was creating my... So here I'm just finishing up creating all the details that I currently have in the front section of my island, because I definitely do want to keep it the same. I am quite happy with it. So I'm just planting all my cherry blossom trees, and then I even went in with my flowers and I drew out all of those. Yesterday I did spend 50,000 bells on flowers alone, so we are definitely going to have quite a few flowers on Sayshell, but I think it should look really nice. And here I'm just adding in my fountain, one of my favorite things in the entire game. I think the fountain in New Horizons looks so beautiful, and every hour it actually has a water effect where the water will squirt out. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I saw it last night and I was genuinely so amazed. So here I'm just adding some weeds and flowers to the bamboo oasis area just to make it seem a bit more overgrown and natural, because that is sort of the woods part of my island, so everything's going to be a bit... You're more likely to get lost in that area, if that makes sense. So here I'm actually extending the path from the main town of the island, and I'm going to go all the way up to where I think I'm going to put the museum. So I just created a rough line at first, and then I started to work on creating a special little area for the museum. Now the museum in this game is so beautiful. I've said this from the beginning, I want to create something special for it. I want to create something that makes it just as beautiful on the outside as it is on the inside. So I figured, why not have waterfalls? So I really did like the idea of having a valley in my island. So I thought, I won't create an entire valley. I won't create the actual Grand Canyon in Animal Crossing, as cool as that would be. So I thought I'll do something else. So I cleared out this area because I completely changed my mind. And I started to create a little mini canyon. So it's not like an entire valley, but it's like a mini one just to sort of frame the museum. So I started with my base level of ground, and then I went to the second level of ground, and then I added waterfalls going all the way around the museum. And I think this is going to create a very, very interesting looking frame when you're actually visiting the island. And above it, I think I created just like a little bamboo oasis area again. In front of the museum, I have those yellow dots which represent fossils, because I'd like to have like an outdoor display that goes with the museum as well. So I created those, and then I have 2 little rivers. So these aren't like complete rivers, but they're like little streams with lots and lots of flowers in between them, just because I think it would look really beautiful to just have like this flower field, and then you have all the fossils on display, and then you have the museum because it's like the museum botanical gardens is kind of what I was thinking about here. Now I did go back and I tried to create a little bit of a wider area in the center of the botanical gardens just so I could in the future create maybe some park benches or some place to kind of relax while you're visiting. Then I realized that I had accidentally created a little island in the middle of my island. So right in the heart of Sayshell, we now have Carousel Island. And Carousel Island is kind of like a little getaway area. It's, as the name suggests, it's kind of like a theme park, but it's not completely a theme park. So there's gonna be rides and like the teacup ride and all those things, but there's also gonna be like little picnic areas. And it's really just a great place to go for like a day trip. You can just go there and hang out, and it's a pretty fun little spot on the island. So I did use lots of different fruit trees and stuff just to make it really colorful on the island because I want it to be a very lively, vibrant place. You know, it's the heart of Sayshell, and I think the heart of Sayshell should be a very joyful, colorful, bright, happy place. So right next to the museum, I actually went in and I created a little bit of a farm area. I just thought it would be really cute. I've seen so many people create these adorable little farms and I wanted one too, so I did create that. And then I broke up the stone path to sort of create stepping stones between the residential campsite, my house, and the farm, and all those sort of not main street areas. You know, like the more private communities, I decided to use a different style of pathway because you're kind of going off the main path. You're going to a different area, and I wanted to emphasize that even with the texture of the ground. So that is my plan for Sayshell. I'm going to get to work today and see how much progress I can make, and I will update you all on how it looks tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone!